If you clicked on this video, you are looking for the 17 boring money rules that explain why a tiny group of people get incredibly rich while everyone else stays trapped in a lifelong paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Most financial content claims that wealth requires hitting a viral stock trend or getting incredibly lucky. But that is a lie designed to keep you scrolling. True financial freedom is built on predictable, unsexy rules that ordinary earners use to quietly build millions. Today, you are going to see the exact behavioral blueprint that separates the rich from the rest of the world. If you want to stop guessing with your money and want weekly, straight-to-the-point strategies to scale your net worth without the fluff, click the subscribe button right now because we are breaking down the exact frameworks that change everything. Rule number 1 is automated scarcity. Average earners get paid, spend money on their lifestyle, and try to save whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month. This is a trap because human spending naturally expands to fill whatever cash is visible in a primary checking account. The rich bypass this flaw entirely by building a system where a massive chunk of their income is automatically swept into decoupled investment accounts the exact second they get paid. They force themselves to live on a manufactured scarcity baseline. If the money isn't there, you cannot spend it. But hiding your cash from yourself is completely useless if you fall for a massive trap hiding right in your driveway. That brings us to rule number 2, avoiding the car debt time tax. Financing a brand new car is the ultimate wealth incinerator. New vehicles lose roughly 60% of their value in the first 5 years alone. This means the average worker trades 1 full week of hard labor every single month just to pay for a metal box that is actively rotting away in traffic. The rich choose the boring route. They buy reliable used cars with cash, completely skip the interest fees, and throw that extra monthly capital into compounding assets instead. And if you think a car payment is a massive wealth killer, it is nothing compared to how a single tap on your phone screen is quietly draining your future. Rule number 3 is the 30-day friction protocol. Modern online storefronts are engineered by behavioral scientists to trigger instant dopamine-driven impulse purchases. While the majority clicks buy immediately, the rich introduce a mandatory 30-day cooling-off period for any non-essential purchase over $100. You add the item to the digital cart, close the tab and walk away. Data shows that 85% of the time, the emotional urge completely vanishes within 3 weeks, saving thousands of dollars a year. But controlling these small impulses won't matter at all if you make the absolute biggest mistake possible with your living situation. Rule number 4 is the 50% affordability cap. When a bank approves an ordinary consumer for a $400,000 home loan, they buy a $400,000 house. They max out their capacity and lock themselves into a high-stress career for 30 years just to pay for it. The wealthy look at their maximum bank approval metric and cut it directly in half. Keeping fixed housing costs drastically below your true means creates an indestructible financial shield that allows you to take massive investment risks. Now, keeping your housing costs low gives you a massive mountain of extra cash. But if you leave all that money in one chaotic place, your brain will find a way to destroy it. That is why rule number 5 is structural asset segmentation. Operating out of a single jumbled checking account where your rent, groceries, and entertainment funds are completely mixed together creates intense decision fatigue. The wealthy segment their banking into 3 automated buckets. 1 account strictly for survival bills, 1 locked account for wealth compounding, and 1 isolated account for guilt-free fun. When the architecture of your bank does the heavy lifting, the daily anxiety of budgeting disappears. Once your accounts are organized, you have to face a harsh truth about how you spend your free time because this next shift changes everything. Rule number 6 is the producer-to-consumer pivot. The average adult consumes nearly 6 hours of digital entertainment every single day. They are constantly trading their attention to buy things other people built. The rich look at those 6 hours as their highest leverage asset. They trade passive consumption for active creation, using those exact hours to develop specialized skills, study market inefficiencies, or build scalable income streams. Frugality has a mathematical floor, but your earning potential is completely limitless. But before you even try to scale your income, you must run every future purchase through a brutal 3-part test that most broke people completely fail. Rule number 7 is the 10-10-10 evaluation. Before deploying capital on any luxury item or non-essential good, ask 3 questions. Will this purchase matter to me in 10 days? Will it matter in 10 months? Will it matter in 10 years? You quickly realize that most consumer products provide 0 long-term utility after the first 10 days, whereas that same capital deployed into an index fund compounds in value over decades. This test saves thousands, but it only works if you apply rule number 8 to fix a hidden danger lurking inside your immediate circle of friends. Rule number 8 is tribal environment alignment. Human behavior is deeply collaborative. We naturally copy the financial habits of the people we spend the most time with. If your immediate social circle normalizes consumer debt, high-end displays, and financial complacency, you will subconsciously mirror those exact traits. Wealthy minds actively curate their environment, aligning themselves with networks that challenge their baselines. Once your environment is clear, you need a dirt-simple framework to distribute your cash before decision fatigue sets in. Rule number 9 is the 60-30-10 framework. Complex budgets fail because they take too much time and energy. To avoid this, simplify your life. Put 60% of your money toward your essential bills, 30% straight into wealth building, and leave 10% for fun. It is a clean allocation strategy that keeps you moving forward without requiring you to track every single penny. But even the most perfect budget can get lazy over time, which is why the rich do something highly unusual once a year to shock their system. Rule number 10 is the annual money detox. Pick one 30-day window every single year to completely freeze all discretionary spending. Let underutilized digital subscriptions expire, pause all non-essential shopping, and force your lifestyle habits to reset back to baseline. This regular freeze breaks bad consumer habits before they become permanent financial anchors. After you reset your habits, you have to start playing offense, even if you think you don't have enough money to make a difference. Rule number 11 is the micro-investing minimum. Waiting until you have thousands of dollars to start investing is a critical mistake that costs you years of compounding interest. True wealth builders understand that consistency is far more important than the size of the check. Setting up an automatic investment of just $10 or $20 a week builds the critical behavioral muscle memory required to manage larger sums later in life. Investing small amounts builds the muscle, but the real needle moves when you stop focusing on pennies and look at the giant bills most people never challenge. Rule number 12 is macro negotiation priority. The average person wastes hours of mental energy trying to save $2 on a cup of coffee, while completely ignoring their major fixed costs. The rich focus their energy on negotiating the massive bills: mortgage interest rates, insurance premiums, and corporate salaries. Lowering a fixed monthly contract just once saves more money than skipping a lifetime of coffee. And when you do look at smaller everyday expenses, you need a mental framework that turns standard price tags into something terrifying. Rule number 13 is the life hours price tag. Stop looking at consumer goods in terms of dollars and start looking at them in terms of time. If you earn $25 an hour and want to buy a $300 designer item, ask yourself if that object is worth trading 12 hours of your active human labor. This shift instantly strips away the emotional marketing and reveals the true sacrifice you are making. Once you see prices as chunks of your life, you realize your human nature cannot be trusted, leading to a rule that protects you from yourself. Rule number 14 is systemic idiot proofing. Never rely on your future self to make the right financial decision in the moment. If you leave cash sitting out, your brain will find a reason to spend it. Wealthy individuals assume their human nature will take the path of least resistance, so they automate everything. Their savings, their bill payments, and their investments happen without them ever lifting a finger. But remember, you can only shrink your expenses so far before your quality of life hits a hard floor, which is where most people get stuck. Rule number 15 is the 80% revenue focus. You can only cut so much from a budget before your quality of life drops to zero. While keeping your expenses optimized is important, the real growth happens when you focus 80% of your mental energy on expanding your revenue ceiling. Focus your mind on learning high-value skills, asking for raises, or creating assets that pay you while you sleep. But scaling your income will actually make you poorer if you don't understand how a single daily habit builds an unfair financial advantage. Rule number 16 is the one-page literacy habit. Financial wisdom is a compounding asset. Reading just one page of a financial text or studying one wealth-building framework a day does not feel like it changes much in the moment. But over a multi-year horizon, that tiny daily habit gives you a massive cognitive advantage, allowing you to spot opportunities and avoid traps that blind the average consumer. And finally, all of these rules collapse into a single brutally boring truth that 90% of people fail to survive over the long haul. Rule number 17 is the consistency law. This is the most boring rule of all, and it is the exact reason why some get rich while others do not. Wealth building is not a dramatic, overnight event filled with crazy luck. It is a quiet, highly repetitive process of executing the previous 16 rules correctly for years on end. The people who win simply pick a sustainable, aggressive plan and let the cold math of time do the heavy lifting without getting distracted by the next shiny object. If you found real, actionable value in this structural breakdown, share this video with one person who needs to hear it. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss the strategies that actually move your net worth forward. Focus on the architecture, automate the process, and execute the plan.